Okay, go live. All right. Well, I think we're live. Matthew, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Right on. So just want to welcome everyone to the ranking stream. During this stream, we basically talk about SEO tools. We give SEO advice. We basically give some productivity hacks for SEOs across any stage of your career, whether you're starting or you're pretty advanced. This is all really good stuff. And today we have a really special guest, Matthew Khorsandi. Thank you for joining. He's the founder of SERPs.com. And today we're basically going to review the tool, get a good instance of what the tool is, how it works, who it's helpful for. And, it's awesome that we get it from the man himself. So I think I'm definitely excited to jump on in. Matthew, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. And I think for the sake of the video, we can just jump in the same way that we do our demos with prospective customers, if that works for you.
Totally works for me. Before we jump in, man, where are you calling in from? What part of the country or the world, or where are you?
I'm currently in West Hollywood, California.
Right on. Okay. All right. How is the weather beautiful?
The weather today is beautiful. It's been a little bit more
Nice.
rainy this season, but today is a nice day.
I'm just coming back from Huntington Beach, California. So I ran the Huntington Half this past Sunday, and it was nice compared to what I left Austin. So I left Austin Friday, but Wednesday through Thursday we had an ice storm. So it was nice to kind of get away and escape and have that beautiful California weather for a little while. But now I'm back in Texas. So
you're based in Austin. You're based in Austin.
I am based in Austin. That's right. That's right.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, on, man. Well, let's jump in. Let's go ahead and do it. So, SERPs.com. So, before we jump into it, what's your background? How did you start SERPs.com?
Sure. So, it's an interesting story, but I was born and raised here in Los Angeles. Eventually ended up attending USC's Marshall School of Business as an undergrad. And from there, I ended up jumping into real estate, like most people in my community do, at least. And I was just cold calling. And I'll make a long story short. I started working for a co-working space, and this was during the times that WeWork was taking off. Like, what is this company? They're exploding. They're expanding like crazy. Blah blah blah. I was working with this company that was trying to also do something similar with some differences and expand into different markets. And I'll make a very long story short. I ended up starting to work closely with a gentleman that was running the ops and marketing for the company. And we became good friends and ended up pretty much running the company together, learned a lot from him. And I'll make an even longer story short. Ended up leaving the company, starting my own agency, and building out SERPs.com.
Right on. So, like, when you were in the agency side, did you come up with the tool as an efficiency or productivity kind of like hack, or?
So the tool was actually ideated. Like the idea for the tool was ideated by many before me, but it was ideated by a former partner, really, and he had been using it to get more results for his own agency clients, and I had this idea of putting it in the browser and licensing it to marketing agencies that provide these services to their clients. So we found that, especially on a local basis, if you're building geographically targeted landing pages for clients and you're doing it the right way, it is probably like one of the most high income things or revenue producing things that you could do for a client that has local search volume. So law firms, law firms is a really big one. Contractors, doctors, any business that when you do some keyword research and you see that they have local search for their money keywords, building out these geographically targeted landing pages are not only going to impact their organic results, but it's also going to impact their maps rankings. And this is not a new thing, right? Geographically targeted landing pages have been around for a long time,
right?
I think, and we're not, at SERPs.com, we're certainly not about taking shortcuts. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to make the process more efficient. And then we're also trying to make it so that everybody that does use our tool is using it for good, and using it to create these pages at the highest possible level so that they can give their clients the best possible results. And as a result, the more value you provide your clients, the more value you can bring in to your own agency.
Right. Yeah. No, that's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the more difficult parts of local business, especially like maybe a franchise or a business with multiple locations, is to scale out and even manage the location pages when it comes to optimizing like title tags, content on the actual site, on the page, schema markup as well. These are really often tedious tasks. Where I guess the old way was kind of you do it one by one. You choose a location, you optimize each one, and then you kind of try to replicate that same process for another page. The exciting thing about SERPs, from what I saw, and we'll see here shortly, is that you could scale that and manage that kind of all in one place with by syncing up with WordPress as well. So kind of takes that little tedious kind of part out. I like that.
Yes, and that's the primary use case. Like the tool was developed to help build geographically targeted landing pages at scale. Because what we found was, okay, there are certain variables that are changing across all these pages, right? Content, of course, is changing across all these pages, but then there's certain very, very key important variables that are really the most important variables that should be changing on page for each of these pages in order to find success, right? Variables like your SEO title, your SEO meta description, your page title, your URL structure, some content on the page, your images, image file names, metadata in the images. All of those things are what we would consider to be the most important variables. And then we dive deeper by training agencies that end up joining us at SERPs on how to effectively create that seed page and the varying content that's going to go on all these different pages to find the most success with the tool.
Amazing. Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm excited to see it. Let's jump on in.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to share my screen. And what we're going to take a look at here is one of our agency clients that has allowed us to use them for our demos. So this is Cali Lemon Lawyers. And they are a lemon law firm based in Los Angeles. They've been around for about 3 years. And we'll get into their metrics. I have HFs pulled up here on the side. And when we started with them, this was in November 2021. So we actually took them away from Scorpion, which is another relatively large marketing agency here in the US. We took them away from Scorpion. They have their own proprietary content management system. So there's no like take over the website. It's more like rebuild the entire website. So we rebuilt the entire website using WordPress, using a theme called UTheme Pro, which we really love UTheme Pro. So, and we rebuilt their website. And the way that we approach our strategy is we always start with what are the most ideal keywords that we could be generating traffic for. Okay. And in this case, that would be bottom of funnel queries, right? Like, so a keyword that someone is to search, land on your landing page, and there's a really high chance that they're going to take an action on your website. And obviously, those include your geographically targeted landing pages, right? So someone typing in your service in the city that they want that service and jumping on your landing page, they're probably going to take an action on that page for the service that you're providing because they're looking for that service. So we do keyword research for all those keywords, and we create those bottom of funnel pages. And for the geographically targeted landing pages specifically, the way that it works is we're actually not a WordPress plugin. So our primary content management system is WordPress, but we're not a plugin. So we're actually a standalone software. And the way that it works is you create a seed page on WordPress. Okay? You create a seed page the same way that you would create any other landing page on your website. And that seed page is going to include those variables that we talked about. So your URL structure, your breadcrumbs, your city name, some headings, content, image file names, and then also image metadata, right? A bunch, and then you can include any number of variables that you want to include on page. Okay? SEO titles, meta descriptions. You can even include variables inside your schema markup. And these are all things that we show you how to do. So from there, you're actually going to export the landing page from WordPress. And you're going to import it into serps.com. So what you're looking at here is serps.com at a new project that's created within Serps. And when you create a new project within serps.com, you're going to upload that XML file that you've downloaded from WordPress into our software. Our software is going to automatically pull all of the images that were on that landing page from your server and upload them into Serps. And you can see here they have the variables inside those images. Okay. From there, you're going to use a Google Sheet. And for many, this looks overwhelming, but it's actually really simple. The first row of your Google Sheet includes all of the variables that you've included on page. And I'm just going to go through some of them. Your city name, URL structure, SEO title, SEO meta description, and there's many, many more, but we're going to go through just these for now. Each row thereafter can be looked at as a new landing page that's going to be created and the corresponding content that's going to fill the variables on that page. From there, you're going to copy the contents of the sheet and you're going to paste it right here into our software. And then we've also created a handy tool to create all of your links to those pages if you want to include them as footer links, whether it be a global footer or some links on each of the pages to get them crawled and indexed faster. From there, you're going to save your project. And just like that, you have all of the links to all of the pages that you've created if you want to include them on page. You have a file with all of your landing pages in that file. So you're going to just download this file and upload it into WordPress. And just like that, you have all of your landing pages. And then here are all of the unique images that we've just created. So you're going to use a Chrome extension to download all of these images. And then you can either upload them via FTP or you can upload them directly via the media browser. And that's it. That's really it. You're done. Just like that, you have all of these geographically targeted landing pages. Right?
Right.
I'll show you an example of one. We can show you an example of a ranking for this page. See, here we are. Number 1 organic, above Superlures, above Yelp, above FindLaw for the exact same query, right? And that's the primary use case. And I'll just show you, here's the results that we've seen for this client, right? November 21 is when we took them away from Scorpion. You can check that out on Wayback Machine to see what changed. And here's their traffic to their website. If I was to show you Google Search Console, we're actually getting 60,000 visitors on our website every month.
Wow.
And so, yeah, that was the primary use case. It's not the only use case, and I'll show you an example of another way that we use the tool. I'll show you two more other ways to use the tool. So here,
quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, on the indexing aspect, how do you kind of manage if say for instance we upload 50 locations all at once? How do you kind of view that in terms of like not allowing Google to freak out or anything like that because so many pages of content were added at once, or does that matter at all to the tool? How do you think about when indexing? Just to hit on that point,
we recommend publishing 25 to 50 pages max at a time, and we publish them all at the same time. And in terms of getting them crawled and indexed, since we're including a bunch of unique content on these pages, which we didn't talk about how we do that and our approach to that, which I think is for probably another conversation. It's like those are for our onboarding calls.
Right.
But the closer the links are to the homepage, the faster they get crawled and indexed. And we really don't have any like crawling and indexing issues. It really comes down to your website. Like how often is your website being crawled and indexed, and pages being indexed on your website, and that comes down to like domain authority, traffic to your website, all of those things, right?
Right.
And then here's all of these other pages that we've created. So we created a bunch of manufacturer pages for these guys. So instead of the city name being the modifier, the manufacturer is a modifier. You can see we've included unique content about the manufacturer, some unique cases that these guys have dealt with for cars from these manufacturers, et cetera. So that would be another use case, and that would be like a product page. And then another use case is, let's say you have all of your content that you want to publish for the next year on your blog, but you don't want to publish it every day. You can use our tool to schedule blog posts and get all of your blog posts scheduled for the whole year. So there's different ways, but again, the primary use case is geographically targeted landing pages, and we've helped a number of agencies create a bunch of landing pages. We use it for our own agency, and at this point, we're probably at tens of thousands of landing pages, hundreds of domains, and we've seen a lot of success with the tool. We're getting a lot of calls these days, and our goal is not to. Our goal is, it's really simple. What we want to do is we want to get eventually for search.com to be synonymous with local SEO. Like, so the same way that you think about, I need to create my Google business profile. I want you to think we need to create a profile with SERPs, and you leverage the various tools that they offer to enhance our local SEO. And so part of that is not just right now that's in the form of this tool that helps you with your landing page production, but there's a lot more to it, because the clients that we onboard, it's a lot more of a hands-on touch. So like as soon as you get onboarded and you make your first investment into SERPs, you're scheduling an onboarding call with someone on our team. We're training you on everything that you need to do to create your seed page, to create your Google Sheet, how to find the most success with the tool, talk through strategy for whatever project it is that you'd like to create. And then we're actually holding your hand as you launch your first project so that you're fully trained on the tool, can leverage it on other clients. And we're there to help you and support you succeed, right? Instead of being like, one, a plugin that who knows if it's going to work tomorrow, and two, just giving you something and saying, go, good luck, right?
Right. Absolutely. And so folks that come to you with like different themes, I mean, I bet you've seen it all in terms of like what folks are, the different themes that people have. Do you recommend them like keeping, one second, I guess we may have lost them. I'll be back. Just give it 1 second, folks. So I think I was just going to ask Matthew a question around basically the different themes that people have on WordPress, and if the tool would be flexible with that. There you are.
Hey, sorry about that.
No worries. I was just asking.
Themes. So yeah, we've seen it all. We have clients that approach us with a bunch of different themes, sometimes custom themes, and I would say the far majority of themes are compatible. It just comes down to, so since we're not installing anything on your website, what it comes down to is if your theme is able to export files and then re-import them, keeping all the styles of your theme, and then also mentioning images and content in their absolute form in that XML file. Because what we're doing is we're replacing certain variables from that XML file, right?
Right. Yeah, man, that's interesting. I could easily see it being like pretty synonymous with Google My Business listings. I mean, having to set up individual listings and actually having a page to contribute to that. Do you guys also recommend like best ways to set up Google My Business, or is this mainly just on the content production side?
Yeah, so right now we're a long way away from being synonymous with local SEO and being synonymous with setting up your Google business profile. And right now, we're simply solving one problem, one part of local SEO, which is landing page production. And then we have a few different use cases, which I just showed you there as well. But that's our vision.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, this is the part to me that's the hardest in terms of just developing, because there's just so many things at play whenever you're developing landing pages. You have so many different people involved. You have a designer typically, before you would have a writer, and then a developer. And obviously you would need like client sign off to do a lot of that work. But this kind of streamlines that entire process. To me, I think the Google My Business side of things, setting that up, isn't really the hard part. I think more of the production, like what you're solving here, is typically
100.
really, yeah, it takes a lot of that. It takes a lot of effort.
It comes down to content, and really good content at the end of the day. And
Right.
I would say the most successful agencies that work with us are the ones that they have a certain niche, they have a certain theme that they like to use for all of their clients. They have templates for the different pages that they use for their clients.
Yeah.
And then it just comes down to the content that they're including on their seed page, and then obviously, of course, their overall SEO strategy.
Right. Yeah. So you're saying, I mean, also too, the example we looked at, automotive. Who else would be a good fit for the product in terms of just product market fit?
That's a good question. I would say any agency owner, okay, that builds on WordPress, at least currently, any agency owner that builds on WordPress has at least 5 clients that the services that they provide. When you do some keyword research for those services, you can see that there's local search intent for those services. That would be a qualified customer for us. And that would be someone that could leverage the tool and find success and make money using the tool.
Right. Gotcha.
I mean, there's also the affiliate play, and there's the rank and rent play. But I would say like our biggest base of customers right now is these guys that have a niche, and multiple clients in that niche, multiple clients coming in consistently, and a need to consistently be producing content at scale.
Right. Absolutely. Man, I could just think of like so many different use cases of this as well. I mean, definitely for location pages. What are other like examples outside of like location pages, but like content production at scale? Like, what does that kind of look like?
So let's say we had another user the other day that was like, hey, we
Whatever
have
you could share.
Yeah, we have all these blog posts that we want to schedule. We have all of them written already. We want to schedule them. We don't want to have to go in one by one and publish these once a week or once every other week, and then redo the page title, redo the meta description, add the content, add the links, add the images, this, that, and the other. We don't want to have to do that. Our tool solves for that. And so when you're talking about like, and this is a bigger agency, when you're talking about hundreds of clients that you already have, and you're onboarding a bunch of clients every month, you're saving hundreds, maybe even thousands of hours, which is, money, right? So,
right.
That's what I would say is like an outside of the box use case. There's also use cases for like certain e-commerce things. Like, for example, we've used the tool for a company that sells defibrillators, or we had a winery that they sell online as well. So they were trying to get people in the neighboring cities to come and enjoy their wine tasting experience while also having their store on the various landing pages that we created for them. So they get not only visitors, to their winery for wine tasting, but they're also getting sales from people that aren't visiting their winery. So there's a bunch of use cases. I think it just comes down to search intent, and then being able to effectively create high converting landing pages that fulfill that intent.
Right. Yeah, I could totally see definitely the e-commerce play really sticks to mind, and just not only on publishing, but like managing a lot of that inventory and content across those pages at scale. that really excites me. We have a few e-commerce clients who this would be a dream for in terms of just managing some of that, some of the products that they have on their website. Whereas some of like their platforms that they're on, for whatever reason, they're just hard to manage all at once. I like the spreadsheet view where you could just kind of look at everything that's on there, what needs to be updated, and just kind of push those updates directly to WordPress in this case. I think that solves a lot of issues there, a lot of problems there around just productivity.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, awesome, man. This was really helpful. Where can people find you? Or actually, I did want to ask one question. Does this AI stuff kind of scare you or excite you? And is there anything you're thinking about with the product in terms of how, it could be adapted in one way or another?
So that's a great question. I think anybody that's in the SEO space that says AI doesn't scare them is lying, because it's scary, because the landscape is shifting. Things are changing, and they're changing really rapidly. The only thing that gives me comfort, at least right now, is knowing that local search, in order for people to find something on a local level, I think they're going to stick to, at least for the foreseeable future, the tools that they use to find those things. I don't see, like, at least for me, like, I'm not using things like ChatGPT and these AI tools to find services online. I'm using it to make my workflow and learn things faster, right?
Right.
So that gives me a little bit of comfort. And then in terms of how are we integrating with these types of things? Well, one, we know that the internet's it is continuing to explode with AI. And it's going to be used for good, and it's going to be used to manipulate Google like any other thing. Like, people are going to try black hat things, and they're going to try to test things, and they're going to test their limits and see what they can do to succeed. And we've even run some of our own tests with single test variables. But I think ultimately AI is going to continue getting smarter to the point that probably these AI detection tools won't be able to detect AI at some point. And that's when things really start getting interesting. But right now, it looks like there are tools out there that can detect AI. And then you also know that Google and these other search engines are trying to say, like, you shouldn't be creating content with AI. But there is, I believe that there is going to be a marriage between unique content and AI that is a healthy balance. And what we're doing is we're looking for ways that we can integrate with ChatGPT to streamline certain processes, like some of the variables that we include on page, how to create the Google Sheet, making it efficient. Like, there's an integration between ChatGPT and Google Sheets, so like we're in the process of integrating with those types of things. So I think as an SEO, you shouldn't. I mean, whether you're scared or not is irrelevant. This is here. It's going to change the landscape of search, and I think what you need to do is just be ahead of it, and just be on top of it. See what's happening. See how you can stay with this wave, and leverage the technology for your benefit. Right?
Well said, man. Yeah, I'm totally with you on that. Matthew, and I thank you for your time and everything here. If people want to find you and reach you, where can they go?
Cool. So you can email me directly. I'm at matt@serps.com, matt@serps, serps.com. Or if you want to schedule a demo for the software, you can just go to our website, serps.com, and right there on the top right corner, it says get a demo.
Amazing. All right, man. And I have to one day ask you about that domain, how you got that. That's a great domain too, by the way. serps.com. So clean, fresh. Oh, man.
It was a premium listing on GoDaddy. We just bought it. We bought it in November. I think we bought it in November.
No way, really?
Yeah, we bought it in November. It was a premium
recent.
listing on GoDaddy, and we had one of GoDaddy's brokers reach out.
Wow, that's amazing, man. Well, dude, I was super impressed by the tool. I would love to have you back. And thank you. I think you're crushing it. And definitely thank you for attending and joining, man.
My pleasure, Michael. Thank you so much, man.
Yes, sir. Chat soon, man. See you, brother.
Bye.